What's up everybody, this is the Book of X and we're here today to talk about recent comments from Xbox veteran Laura Fryer, specifically stating that she thinks that the Xbox hardware is dead. So let's just jump into this one. So for those who aren't aware, Laura Fryer was a former original member of the Xbox team. She delivered the first Gears of War back in 2006 and then went on to work with the Xbox's advanced technology group, but she departed around a decade ago, went on to do careers in Warner Brothers and Epic and so on. But I do feel like these comments fall with a lot of ignorance into what exactly Xbox's strategy is. Now I can understand the loyalty Laura would have to the original Xbox vision, but we're a long way away from the 2000s in every aspect of technology. It's advanced significantly in the last 20 years, whereby what worked back then does not necessarily work back right now. And the comment specifically that she said she started from her perspective, it looks like Xbox has no desire or literally can't ship hardware anymore. So this ROG Ally partnership is about a slow exit from the hardware business. Now this is an odd comment considering that Xbox have just announced, even more recently than the ROG Ally partnership, their partnership with AMD for their next console. Sarah Bond has stated on more than one occasion that Xbox will be delivering a next-gen console, and one that will advance further than any previous iteration. Now we've seen the rumblings of what this is going to be, with this sort of multi-store integration with utilization of AI to make it the all-in-one box that we all actually want, as much as these people try to convince us we don't. Ultimately, as a consumer, you want convenience above all else. But with those comments, it's an odd one, because Xbox is at least doing the hardware game for them, at least the next decade or so from Sarah Bond's recent comments. What happens beyond that? Well, no one really knows what beyond that. As the world continues to go more and more towards sort of digitals, streaming, cloud, and so on, perhaps no one will have a hardware in a decade's time. Perhaps it is more cheaper to outsource it to other companies like Asus, like Lenovo, like HP, Dell, and so on. We simply don't know what the market is going to look like. But her comment drive further into what I believe is a sort of a lack of knowledge of what's really going on in the Xbox ecosystem at the moment. So she goes on to sort of praise the likes of the recent Oblivion remake, but then sort of backhand compliments her, saying it's Xbox releasing games looking back to a time or an era when Xbox knew how to build them, and then goes on to say what is Xbox's long-term plan and where the new hits. Such an odd comment, because this year alone we've seen multiple new franchises drop from Xbox. We had Avowed earlier this year. We had South of Midnight launch back in April, and we got The Keeper coming from Double Fine later this year. All original titles. Yes, we have dotted in between sort of sequels and remakes and so on, charting back to the old days. But looking beyond that, we do have new franchises coming from Xbox, whether it be Clockwork Revolution, whether it be Everwild, if that game ever does release, and whatever other franchises sort of the studios are working on. We know that Activision Blizzard's studio that has been recently created is working on a brand new IP. For all we know, the new MMO being created by Bethesda Online is a new IP. So the idea that Xbox are not delivering on new hits, I would argue Xbox are delivering on more new IP this generation than both Nintendo and PlayStation. Nintendo has very much relied on its tried and tested IPs such as Donkey Kong, Mario, Zelda, and so on, and most recently the likes of Splatoon. And Sony then has relied on the likes of Last of Us, Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon. Now yes, Horizon is a newer franchise there, but we're coming up to a point where Horizon itself is almost a decade old, and we're seeing just sequels out of that. So she goes on to state that in 2026 we have Xbox's 25th anniversary, and she said she's sure that the fog of war will clear once that does land. But then for those who are inside the Xbox ecosystem, I would argue there is no fog of war. We've been very clear on the direction Xbox is going for the past year. Ever since the roundtable interview, we know what Xbox's strategy is to be the biggest publisher, the biggest reach of games with the best services. So they make you whatever you want, but ultimately the best value is on the Xbox platform itself through the likes of Game Pass, through the likes of Xbox Play Anywhere. To suggest that Xbox Play Anywhere is just a buzzword, well, for those who have Xbox Play Anywhere, they know the capability what that is. You buy it once, you have access to it in multiple places. Who wouldn't like that? So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Laura Fryer is spot on here? Do you think she's way off the mark? Do let me know. But if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you all again soon.